Alright, Canada, welcome back to the show. My name is Parmesan, and this is Niagara due north. We talk important stuff here. Today, we have David Eby's polling collapse, the new New York City mayoral candidate taking the city by storm, and big story today, we are going to break down Mark Carney's spending because it is starting to concern me. So guys, pull up a seat. We got one hell of a ride for you. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. In the first segment today, folks, I take you over to British Columbia, where David Eby is crashing, guys, harder than a Boeing jet, with a DEI pilot. I can fly! We gotta look at this. As you can see here, from Angus Reid, David Eby is down 7 points. Okay. This post was about Danielle Smith, but look at David Eby. He is crashing. Why are you crashing so bad, David Eby? Didn't you promise $1,000 to all of your constituents? Why aren't you popular right now? I mean, look at this poll from Main Street. This was taken yesterday. The Conservatives are now up 3 points. That is freaking awesome. Go Conservatives. I never thought I'd see BC turn blue. Okay, all I know, David Eby is crashing hard, and I'm going to report on it. Look at this. Why are you dying so bad, David Eby? Why does nobody like you, David Eby? Didn't you give all of your people $1,000, David Eby?
Today, Premier Danielle Smith in Alberta said she believes she's 5 weeks away from finding a proponent to build a pipeline from Alberta to BC's coast. If she's able to find a proponent and that proponent pays for the pipeline in its entirety, would you support that bitumen pipeline going through British Columbia to a port in Prince Rupert?
So context. He answered before on Power Play with Vashi that he would support a pipeline, but there isn't a proposal for one. And what he wants to do is support the stuff that's already halfway through the approval process, so they still got 10 years to go before they're ready to go. He'd rather work on those than get new pipelines going. Because there's no investor in pipelines. He doesn't support federal investment in pipelines. Well, what if there is none, David?
Well, Richard, I guess some of my frustration about this issue is that there is no proponent. There is actually no project here. I went through a list that reflects probably in excess of $50 billion.
And he calls it speculative, but it's not. There's nothing to speculate.
In Canada and in our country, where there are proponents, where they are well through or on the verge of being complete through environmental assessment processes, where support from the federal government will benefit not just British Columbia, but also Alberta and the Yukon. And I think that's where our attention should be, on the shovel-ready projects that are ready to go.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right? Unfortunately, the history of BC says otherwise, David. You are the third premier in a row to do everything in your power to prevent Alberta's prosperity.
The phone lines?
I think it's starting to show there, David.
With Katie DeRosa from CBC.
You didn't answer Richard's question about whether you support a privately funded...
Oh, look at that face.
Entirely privately...
So let's watch that again, guys. That was way too funny.
You didn't answer Richard's question about whether you support a privately funded or entirely privately funded pipeline. Can you clarify your position on that?
Yeah, I did. I won't speculate. There is no project. There is no proponent. And as a premier of a province with literally almost $50 billion of projects with proponents that are ready to go, that are in approvals processes, that will benefit Alberta.
It's not speculation, David. Will you or will you not? The answer is yes or no. People don't answer on hypotheticals. They answer on speculatives. If this were to happen, will you do it? Come on, David. The investors are waiting on you to say yes. You want proponents. Say yes, and then they will come to you. Come on, bro. David Eby is one of the worst Canadians. Comment down below. Who's worse, Doug Ford or David Eby? Next up on Not in Canada news, there is a radical socialist running for mayor of New York City, and he is striking, and he is making all of the rage. Because why?
Prices are out of control. The cost of eggs and milk has skyrocketed. Some stores are even using dynamic pricing, jacking up the cost over the course of a day depending on what they can get away with. It doesn't need to be this way. I'm Zahran Mamdani, and as mayor, I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. It's like a public option for produce.
He strikes every single demographic box that you can think of. He's also 33. 33 years old. I think that's an important part of it. But I think the biggest part of it is his extreme radical platform, guys. Let me go and show you guys this. This is crazy. His platform, he is going to freeze the rent, build affordable housing, crack down on bad landlords. He is going to make a Department of Community Safety, which used to be called the Police Department. City-owned grocery stores. Free buses. No-cost childcare. Baby baskets for New York's newborns. What's paying for our agenda? Taxing corporations and the 1%. Trump-proofing New York City? This guy has some crazy stuff in there. Holy, I didn't even see some of it. You guys just caught real-time reaction on Niagara due north. That isn't all of it, folks. Asmongold chimed in on this, saying, fuck it. And if the lesser of two evils keeps getting more and more evil, you might as well just flip the board over. Watch this.
It's that simple. I don't agree with the socialist policies. I don't like the fact that he's like not speaking only in English. There's a lot of things I disagree with this guy about, but at least he's actually trying, right? Yeah, he's got the right answer. That's it. Why would you trust this bullshit?
Here we go.
Because at least he's pretending to care. These other people don't even pretend. They don't even pretend. They're not even trying. They're openly...
They got asked where their first visit was going to go, and Zoran was the only one that didn't say Israel. He said he's going to stay in New York.
He's saying, yes, we're going to go over to Israel. Yeah, sorry, guys, but he's horrible? Good. Okay, so then, and they should listen to this. You think this guy's so horrible, okay? Then stop putting up people that put Israel ahead of the United States. Yeah, all right, because as a show of force, then stop putting up people that put Israel ahead of the United States. Yeah, all right, because as a show of force, I would rather vote for somebody who is fucking horrible. I would rather flip the fucking board over. I would rather vote for a fucking a crackhead under a bridge than stay inside of the little tiny fucking narrow, damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So
I don't necessarily agree with that.
yes, that's right. That's right. We're so sick of this that we will elect a... That's right. That was my viewpoint with Trump. That was. And like, yes, LOL, what? That's right. Because again, and no. It's a show of defiance. It is a show of defiance. It is a protest vote. It is a fuck you. It is a no, I'm not going to sit inside of this little box that you put me in. I'm going to go off the fucking rails.
He does have a point. I don't exactly agree with Asmongold here, but he does have a point, and he's got a further one here.
Will, and who's truly ignorant there. And the people who are, it's not about being ignorant. It's about showing defiance against a system that intentionally disenfranchises you and creates a false dichotomy between different people that will not give you any results. And at a certain point, in my opinion, I think the only way...
That's right, and that is a pretty crazy take on that. Do you agree with Asmongold? Hit the like button down below, folks. He's a cool guy. We like Asmongold here. And that's not all. That's not all, folks. Millionaire Bitcoin mogul Tyler Winklevoss. Millionaire Bitcoin mogul Tyler Winklevoss had a very, very in-depth post that I will read to you. A lot of people have asked me if I will get involved in the New York City mayor race by supporting a candidate that can defeat Zoran Mamdani. To be honest, I'm torn and undecided. Like every other city run by Democrats, New York City is a broken kleptocracy. Taxes are astronomical, and the services are pathetic to non-existent. Anarchy and socialism are the next logical steps in this story arc. It's what the people of New York City have been asking for years, and it looks like it's what they're about to get. Trying to fight against this tide seems like throwing good money after bad. It appears things will have to get worse for New York City before they get better. The Zoomers and Millennials need a refresher on the outcome of Marxism and socialism. They are too young to remember the crack and crime epidemic and M-word sprees of the late 80s and early 90s. The squeegee men, graffiti, mugging, lawlessness, chaos, and pandemonium. Streets that were too unsafe to walk alone at night or even during the day. Getting mugged on the way to and from school was not just a rite of passage, it was an inevitability. The Wall Street financiers and hedge funders have been too busy working on their fish ponds and climbing the rungs of the pole of the polite society to remember to protect the system that allowed them to achieve their success in the first place, and allowed New York City to once become the greatest city in the world. Not ruffling feathers was more important than questioning the ideological insanity being taught in the private schools and universities that they sent their kids to. All that mattered was fitting in and getting invited to the right dinner parties. Now their kids are indoctrinated NPCs, always protesting and supporting the current thing. Like their parents, they too want to fit in. To do so, they unironically exchange bromides and platitudes on the benefits of socialism over rosé brunches in the West Village. Because their friends hate America and capitalism, they do too. It never dawns on them that their lifestyle and studio apartment that their parents subsidize are all made possible because of capitalism. The delusional thinking was ingrained in them at an early age by institutions that were captured by insane ideology and left unchecked by their grossly negligent parents. Instead of providing their children with immunity from stupid and provably bad ideas that have only led to misery and death throughout history, these parents shrugged it off as kids will be kids. Now these kids are adults who can vote, but are totally unequipped to do so. In many ways, it's not their fault. From their parents, they learned some combination of magical thinking, preference falsification, and an inability to stand up for anything greater than themselves. As a result, they never learned how to think critically or independently. They never learned the value of Western civilization, so they don't understand why or know how to fight for it. Sometimes the only way to learn is to learn the hard way. Sometimes the only way to learn the value of what is to have is to lose it. If that's the case, Marxism and socialism might just be what the doctor ordered. Very scathing, in-depth post there. That guy was thinking about running for mayor for the Conservatives for New York. Fear not, guys. New York still has a chance. That was a Democratic primary. So he still has to go up against the likes of Eric Adams, who is already the mayor, and Conservative candidates. So there might still be hope for New York yet. Now, on today's top story, folks, I bring you the breakdown of what numbers we can actually break down. Because, let's face it, we don't know anything about what Mark Carney's spending. But I took to Grok and stop making fun of me. Okay, you just sit down right there. I had Grok check out Mark Carney's spending. Just listed for me all of his promises, all of his spends. How much is it going to cost? By freaking Lord. There is a lot. First of all, there's a lot of things that Grok said is not costed. Artificial intelligence, estimated cost not fully costed in sources, promised to provide up to $15,000 per worker in priority sectors like AI skills, to develop things like AI skills. And then we have the energy right here. Estimated cost not specified in sources. Not specified, but results in lower government revenue. Not specified. So there are some things not specified yet. Why is that, Grok? Well, because Grok needs a budget to look at, folks. Okay? So what we do have is a list of the stuff that we do have. Now, this is all over 4 years. So we have tax cut, capital gains increase, GST removal for first-time homebuyers, the Build Canada Homes Fund. This is $11 billion to invent a prefab home industry in Canada. Okay? Housing infrastructure, $6 billion. Okay? Let's divide all this stuff by 4. Defense spending, $18 billion in cash and $32 billion in capital. And that's going to keep going up and up and up and up and up until it reaches $150 billion, as we all just found out. Trade Diversification Fund, $5 billion to help companies get overseas. An export credit facility. Oh, this is the one. Not Buy Canada initiative, not costed. National electricity grid, not costed. I mean, that stuff's probably coming next year. But guys, we have $225 billion divided by 4. That is $55 billion a year if everything goes smooth. We live in Canada. It's not going to go smooth, folks. Turns out, okay, we have First Nations people who don't want you touching any of their stuff that for some reason we gave them. Okay? We have environmental policies that make things take years and years and years and years and years to build. David Eby's talking about the shovel in the ground projects that are shovels in the ground, but still 8 years away from getting a brick in the ground. This list reflects Carney's campaign platforms as reported. Though I need to be honest, folks. A lot of this stuff is investing for the future. And that doesn't sound bad to me. Okay? Export credit facility? I like that. That sounds good. And as you can see here, it's financing. Right? So this is the government giving out loans to companies to help them expand and go overseas. That's money that we're going to see come back. This is my biggest problem. I don't trust Mark Carney. And I'm almost 40. Do I have 15 years to wait for fucking the economy to catch back up? Man, I'm done. My life is over. I'm not getting anything I want. I might as well just I might as well just borrow as much money as I can and then screw Canada and leave. As Carney's spending is atrocious. And I know for a fact it's a lot more than 225 billion. Now, the thing that worries me the most about Carney's spending, same thing that's worrying everybody, how are you going to pay for it, Carney? Even all these startup investments that we're going to get money back for in decades, in 5 years, in 10 years. Where are we getting the money in the meantime? Are you going to cut health services? Raise taxes? Print money? A bit of all three? Where's funding for the army going to come from? The military? Where's funding for that going to come from? I am worried because it's all going to come from inflation. That's right, folks. It's all going to be inflation. He can't run on raising taxes. He can't raise any taxes. This guy, I think he is trying to people please everybody. But we have to see. I don't know. Comment down below, folks. How do you think Mark Carney is going to get this money? Let me know. Is it going to be out of taxes? Is he actually going to bring foreign investment? Or will he create another bureaucracy that will somehow balance the budget? We'll find out, folks, in due time. My name is Parmesan, and this is Niagara Due North. Thanks for watching, guys. I thought my channel was done, but no, I'm back, folks. I'll see you next time.